Okay, welcome back to Started from the Bottom. I am your host, Susan Peterson. Today, I'm so excited. We have Lex Cuillard in the studio. Lex is the founder and current CEO of Caxi Co., a woman-owned and woman-run hair accessory company. Caxi aims to design trendy, unique, mature, and functional hair accessories while always maintaining hair health. At the age of 21, Lexi started sewing hair accessories in her home and turned it from a side hustle into a successful growing business in just 3 short years. With a growing business and the birth of her first baby, Lad, who we love.
We love him.
We love him. Lexi is bouncing between large wholesale account meetings, designing products and with manufacturers, running a team of women, and figuring out how to be a mom. Caxi not only sells directly to consumers, but also focuses heavily on wholesale accounts. They can be found in hundreds of salons, boutiques across the country, as well as Free People with their Caxi X Free People designs online, in-store, and in stores worldwide. Dang.
That is recent. That is
Free People.
Hearing you say that just made me
When did it
flutter.
launch?
Right before Lad was born. So like the middle of December was when like products went live at Free People.
How long was that in the works?
It actually happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, just a backstory a little bit. They actually saw one of their head buyers at Free People saw an ad. So shout out to my ad guy. That we were running on social media and reached out to us, and I freaked out, didn't believe it was real. And then that was kind of in the works for probably a month and a half. But granted, we had to jump through 4,000 hoops because Free People says jump, and we said like which cliff, like where are we jumping? You know?
Yeah.
So we made it happen faster than I don't even know how we made it happen that fast, but we made it happen to get the opportunity. So it was about a month and a half of every night, every day, figuring things out. But we did it.
It's wild. People don't understand when you go into wholesale for the first time. It is because I imagine they have like do they use is it EIN system?
So they have their own ticketing system that we order. I mean, they plug in all the information. I just have to order it in time and it comes to us. But then we have to ticket everything.
Yeah.
Every product, every single little thing 4 times in 4 different places and ship it on the right place. They are big girl business. Like they don't mess around.
Yeah. Nordstrom's a pain in the butt.
I would assume it's probably a similar system to them.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's not just like, oh, we could get this done over a weekend. It's like weeks of like making sure you have the right size box and everything.
Yeah,
good
it's wild.
job.
But that was my fun little
bio.
bio.
Big girl business.
Thank you very much.
Lex, how did you get started?
So I started. I've always been very entrepreneurial. So I just was always the kid with the lemonade stands, things like that. I always kind of internally knew that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to own my own business. And I think a lot of people get caught up, and so did I, in the like, I want to do something, but what do I do? Everything's already been done.
That's actually the number one question I get.
I'm sure.
Is I want to start a business, but I don't know what to do. 100%. So this is perfect.
And that's funny because I feel like people ask you that, and you're like, well, I don't know either. Like,
yeah, what do you like?
Yeah, exactly. That is the question. And so that's kind of where my answer came was, what do I like? What am I interested in? What are my hobbies? Because I could always go start some business that I know would do well, but if I'm not passionate about it, I'm never going to be as successful as I know I could be. And so for me, women's accessories, fashion, things like that always intrigued me. And I felt like that was kind of during the time when like women's boutiques were really huge, especially here in Utah. I don't know if you remember the boom on Instagram.
Yeah.
But all the boutiques started popping up. Everybody owned a boutique, and it was awesome because there were so many women that were like, I'm going to do this. And a lot of them have since taken off. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, stand out a little bit more. And so I found myself searching just naturally as a consumer for hair accessories. That was just something that I liked, I would wear, with an outfit, whatever. But I felt like all the ones I was finding were really little girl. And I just kind of noticed, it was kind of an aha moment that there was a gap in the marketplace. And I decided like I could make something myself, even though I am no seamstress, but I did try there for a while.
Yeah.
That was functional to me, that I liked, that was a little bit more mature, that, was trendy and cute, because I couldn't find it anywhere else. So that's kind of where I started.
Most people start making stuff because I can't find it. I taught myself how to sew. I can't sew now.
No.
Do you sew now?
No.
No.
That was the first job that I gave to somebody else.
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, if you bought from my first couple launches, like, please burn it. Like, I will replace it for free. Just burn it, because it has to be terrible. But I thank all the people that, were like posting about it. But at the time there wasn't really anything else. So
So when did you
good.
start? How old were you?
It was 2018. So I had just gotten married. I just turned 21. And Chase and I kind of had this idea on my birthday. I was at work. He was at work. And I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm really going to do this. I called him at work on my lunch break and was just kind of like, I need you to go pick up the sewing machine from this woman in a Wendy's parking lot.
Yeah. Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, bring $50 cash.
Yeah.
And he, bless his soul, he's so sweet, but he's like, Lexi, you don't sew, you don't cook. Like, what are you trying to, like, it's your birthday. I'm trying to take you out somewhere nice. We're trying to have a birthday, you know? And I was like, no, just go pick it up. And so he went and picked it up, and then we did the whole dinner thing, birthday thing, and he had some other plans, and I was like, can we just go to Joann's? And he was like, I guess you're crazy, but sure, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
So we spent the night at Joann's, and I was all of a sudden just in this world of like fabric and design. And I think looking back, can see myself as my brain was just turning of all of a sudden like, no, I'm going to turn this into a business. This is going to be fun. I'm really passionate about this. And so then we picked out a bunch of fabric. We dropped $100 at Joann's, and I came home and spent all night on YouTube, like how to sew, how to replace this on sewing machine. And the sewing machine was crap, but we figured it out.
Put the string around the little thing in the middle.
Exactly. Yeah. Why is needle not picking up thread?
Right.
My Google search history, I wish I had a screenshot of it because it was probably comical.
So you taught yourself how to sew.
Yeah.
And then when did you say it was your first job you hired out? When did you go to manufacturing?
Well, right after launch 1. Immediately. Okay. I looked at my pieces and I was so proud of them, but I thought, I'm working full time. I'm going to school full time. I'm trying to stay up late at night and sew, and it's taking me so much time because I'm not good. I feel like sewing is something, if you're really good at it, or if you're sewing multiple pieces, you can crank that out really fast. But if you're not comfortable with it, you're like going back and forth and out and in, and you're cutting out pieces that you messed up, and like, it just is a nightmare. And so I realized really quick that it was not sustainable for me to sew as well. And it wasn't, I probably at the time was like, no, I'm the best. Like, it looks good, but like, I just don't got time. But looking back, it was like, no, it was crap and I didn't have time.
I feel like for anyone, if you start out a business that you're sewing, I've talked to a couple girls who are like, I'm always going to sew. And it's like a hairdresser. It's just so hard on your body.
No, it is. And it's hard to grow as well. Cause the time you could be focusing on other aspects of your business, you're focusing on the seamstress part of things. And it takes a long time. And so I actually went straight to, bless Facebook. Facebook's the reason that I started my whole business. I'm buying a sewing machine. I go to Facebook. I create an ad just out of nowhere that's like looking for a stay-at-home seamstress, somebody that can, help me with these simple designs. I drop off fabric at your house. You can do it with kids. You can do it whenever. I'll give you a time period of when I need to pick it up by. And I woke up the next morning with hundreds of responses from women that were just like, hi, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I love to sew. I have a sewing machine. I have all of the supplies needed because it's their passion. It's their hobby. I would love to make some money. And so immediately I hired my first seamstress. I went over to her house. It was probably really awkward. I was this 21-year-old girl walking into her house. She had 3 kids. She was awesome. And Chase and I actually started realizing that Joann's fabric is really freaking expensive.
And it's crap.
Yeah. And I didn't know this at the time. So that's what I was doing. But
we all start at Joann's.
Yeah, exactly. Bless you, Joann's, but you suck. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, so Chase and I had heard from a friend that there was this magical place called the Fashion District. And so we took a trip to California, and my world again was just open to all the possibilities of the different fabrics and designs. And so we would make this trip to California to go buy fabric every probably 3 months. And we would just load our car up, load our 4Runner up, and then drive back to Utah. And then I would drop pieces off at different women's house and give them deadlines, and they would sew the pieces, and we would collaboratively come up with new designs. At first we just started with a hair scarf, and then they were like, well, I have all these extra pieces, from our measurements. I could make a scrunchie, and we could do this. And so then I was pretty much buying out the Fashion District with, I'll buy the whole bolt. I need 100 yards of your fabric. And they were kind of like, this is all I have. I was like, I'll take it. I don't have another option. So that's kind of where that part of the business was born, to have other people help us with manufacturing at home.
And then you opened a distribution spot?
Yes. So we had, at first, no.
What, you're just doing it in your house?
Yes.
Bless
At first,
you,
it was in my
Lex.
3-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo with my husband. And then it moved to we were building a townhouse. So it moved to my parents' house with me while we lived with my parents while that was being built. And then it moved to that home. And then I rented my first little 600 square foot office, literally
But isn't
office.
it wild when you walk in there, you're like, we're going to be here forever.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Like
1,000%.
This is so big.
No, like I was nowhere near close to having kids at this point, but I was like, I could put a crib right there.
Yeah.
You know, and that was like 4 years ago.
Right.
And we've since been in like 4 or 5 other warehouses since, because we've just continued to grow so quickly. So now we have one in Pleasant Grove that I will be there forever. No, I'll come back next year and I'll be like, nah, we're somewhere else.
Yeah, time to move.
But in the meantime, that side of the business was growing as this manufacturing portion with stay-at-home moms was growing. And eventually we've kind of gotten to the point where that's not sustainable either as well. So now we've started working with other manufacturers overseas and things like that, that help us with custom pieces. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, for volume, it just makes more sense to go overseas sometimes and get like a big cut and sew going.
For sure. Yeah. And they're awesome. I know that it's a very controversial subject for a lot of people, but
it's interesting to me why that's controversial, because you look at American manufacturing, and as a country, we have worked to not be a manufacturing country
1,000%
for the last 50 years. And my friend who he owns a couple factories in China, he's done these studies, and made in the USA is actually like the 6th consideration most people actually have. They say it means a lot to them, but when it comes down to their dollars, they don't actually put their dollars towards it.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's actually better to buy secondhand than it is to focus too much on made in the USA.
That's
if you're
really
looking at it from like keeping it in the like American economy.
Yeah.
But we just don't have manufacturing jobs. Manufacturing jobs are passed down. It's like learned. It has to be shown. And once you lose that, then it's gone from the United States.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
makes sense.
to put it on a company I always felt a little like this is unfair, because I'm just trying to build a business in the landscape that I have. Yeah. And I can't, we make all of our soft sole moccasins in Utah, but it's not because I'm pro made in the USA or anti made in the USA. I love providing jobs to people locally.
Absolutely.
But it's because from a volume perspective, our moccasins are so small that it just makes way more sense to make them here than it does overseas. Like we found it costs the same.
For sure. And as a business, you kind of just have to do what's best for your business. I will say though that there are like the manufacturers, there are some really huge discrepancies between like you hear factory in China and you think the worst of the worst because of what you see on the media. But there are some really awesome, like sustainable, and they work so hard. Like they have earned my business 100 times over and over and over again because they work so hard and they're awesome. And they want pictures of my baby and they send me pictures of their kids. And I feel like it's a part of my business that I'm actually really proud of instead of something that I'm like hiding away from.
Right.
Because the people I've never met them in person, but I would love to because I love them and they work hard and they're awesome.
Time for you and Chase to head on over.
Yeah, we're going. You want to come?
No, but
I do not
I'll
like Chinese food
Lad for you. I'll keep the baby.
Okay, you hold the baby.
So you said you've always been entrepreneurial growing up. What were some of your businesses besides lemonade stand?
My very first business was the neighborhood poop scooper. And
oh my gosh, you are genius.
I actually was. I had something really good going.
I would pay so much money.
Yeah, well, the people in my neighborhood did not pay very much money, but I also set my own rate. And I don't know where in my little 7-year-old brain thought this was a good idea, but I thought that I would make more money per piece that I like picked up. So like I would count.
So you were doing piecemeal.
Yeah. So I was picking it up and I was like, oh, that's a 25 cents right there. And I'd like scrape it out of the grass. Oh my God. Like so gross. But at the time, like I was making, even if it was $10, I
pocket
was
money.
7 years old and Walmart was around the street and I could get whatever I wanted.
Genius.
So that was one of my businesses. My siblings tease me all the time. Now I was the lemonade stand queen, which I feel like a lot of little girls are, but I went and hired out all the little kids in the neighborhood and I would pay them like 10 cents per delivery. And then I would choose the really cute ones that were really well behaved and liked in the neighborhood to like go do door knocking and like be like, we'll bring you it. Like we're doing a neighborhood lemonade, and they're like, oh, I'm busy. Duh, thanks, kids. But then their catchphrase was, well, I can bring it to you for an additional 25 cents.
Yeah.
And how are you ever going to say no?
I would say yes all day.
Yes,
Twice
exactly.
on Sunday. Yes.
Yep. Twice on Sunday.
Yes.
And so then I had them like bring them their cup of lemonade, right? And then I'd like divvy out the money and I'd keep a huge chunk, and I probably was not very ethical as a little kid.
Yeah, no, that sounds like child labor laws.
Yeah,
that
but
you're
I also
breaking.
was a child, so does it
No.
where does that line?
I don't know what the judge would say, but I would say you're good.
Thank you. But my siblings say that I owe them money to this day for those jobs.
Oh gosh. Listen, like it's either a good time or a good story, and they got both out of it, and so you have
1000%.
paid them
10 times over.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You hear that, Ethan?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Ethan.
send him this podcast. Okay.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. You seem like you are actually, see, if I had to guess before you came on, I would have guessed that you were very creative. But now I would say that you are actually excellent at operations, but you have impeccable taste.
That's very nice of you.
But I'm just saying, like, you are really always thinking of like the processes and systems of the business.
I feel like I do. I'm not great at execution, actually. When it comes to the actual process of it, I can dream it up all day long. And that's where my husband comes in. He's amazing at execution. I don't think I'm a very like, if it's on my own to-do list, I'll get it done. I'll always get it done. If it's on someone else's to-do list, I am not a follow you around, make sure things are getting done kind of boss. And that's where Chase comes in. And he's awesome at that.
Yeah.
But I would say that I would never consider myself like a artistic person. I do think I'm creative, but I have no artistic ability in my body. But I love to have a good eye for fashion or good taste or things like that.
Yeah, you're very on trend, and you're very not trendy. I would say you're more classic. Like it's more of like a stick around kind of style. What is that called? I don't
like traditional.
Traditional.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Oh,
like timeless.
2 podcasts in and my brain is fumbling.
That's all right.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting though, because like I did the same thing. I started out sewing, but I'm not going to sew now. No. But I will do if I need to do something to get the ball rolling, I will. I actually have the same thing. I am not great at finishing, so I always hire finishers.
Yep.
For me.
That's kind of how I am.
And I think if I get too caught up in the finishing, then I can't do the big ideas.
Agreed.
And so I have to make sure I can't get bogged down by it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I also feel like when I do execute, I over execute and it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So I end up wasting time.
Yeah.
All the time, which is bad.
So you got to under execute.
Yeah. But that's when I just hand it to somebody else and I say, this is how I want it done. Get it done. I trust you to get it done. So go get it done. And I'm going to go get my stuff done.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it all works out.
It's working.
But so far it's working.
Yes. Have you always been into accessories?
Yes, actually. I am probably like the girliest tomboy you've ever met in your whole life. I love sports. Grew up playing basketball my entire life.
You played college ball, right?
No, I actually didn't. I went on an LDS mission and I broke my kneecap while I was there. And so I came home with plans to go play college ball and it just didn't end up working for me.
Where'd you go on your mission?
Italy. I served in Italy.
Oh my gosh, you told me this.
Rome.
Yes.
And you're going.
I'm going in a month. I can't wait. Is that where you and your husband met?
No. Oh no.
Why did I think that?
I love anyone that met their husband on their mission, but it's like peeing in the pool. Like I couldn't, like the elders I served with on my mission. And I'm sorry if you don't know the lingo here, if you're listening, but basically
it'd be like summer
it's like a
camp.
church. Yeah. It's like you go on like a church camp or a church mission, right?
Right. For 2 years
and
or
like,
a year and a half.
The elders that were there, they're great. They're awesome. I'm good friends with some of them, but they were like my brothers. Like,
couldn't look at them that way.
Just wasn't my type. We actually met. Chase was just home from his LDS mission. He served in the Philippines. And I was going into my senior year and we met at like a city carnival.
Your senior year
of high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was like home from his mission, a college boy. Yeah. That's what my dad did.
Yeah.
Just that face you just made was my dad.
Okay.
And I had a boyfriend at the time.
Okay.
We had a mutual friend. I ran into his mutual friend. We were talking. Chase introduced himself and slid into my Twitter DMs. which I don't even know my Twitter
We're
username back
aging
in the day.
ourselves right now.
Anyways, and then I had a boyfriend, eventually sent that boyfriend on a mission. And Chase pulled the whole, I'd love to take you out. I know you're sad. You want to go see a movie? And I was like, yeah, thank you.
Chase.
I know. He let me sit at Zupa's and talk about this ex-boyfriend that I was in love with
Chase
for
hours. He was
hours.
playing the long game.
Oh, Chase is king of playing the long game.
I really respect it.
Me too. I do now. At the time, I was like, that is not what you told me we were going to do.
Right.
You know? But now I'm like, I really appreciate that.
I think all successful marriages start with a heavy dose of trickery from the husband.
I just thought of like 4,000 couples in my brain, and you are right.
Like, I didn't know my husband liked sports when we got married.
Oh, how?
We
It
never
just never came up.
we never watched. He never watched sports.
Well, yeah, because you're too busy making out.
100%.
Yeah. Who cares about a football game?
And then he was like really into sports, and I was like, huh.
You're like, interesting.
Okay,
but now you're really into sports.
Yeah, but for me, it's totally about thirsting over young guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
That's true. I did go to a basketball game with Susan, and she was like, "Yep, that one. He's cute. He's cute."
That's
that's my boyfriend.
Like, some people look up stats for, to see how big of a, I don't know, how bad of a shooter they are. And I'm looking up height and weight.
Yeah. She's like, potential match, maybe.
But here's the truth of the matter.
She's over there playing Tinder on the basketball court.
100%.
When you see Susan's courtside, it's just eye candy for her. She doesn't give a crap about the score.
I am all talk. If I ever had to meet any of those guys in person, I'm not, there's no game.
I want to be there so bad.
I would turn bright red. It's just like,
because like deep down you're in love with your husband.
I'm obsessed with my husband.
But it's your eye candy.
Yeah, my mom would always say, I'll stop looking when I'm dead. Yeah. And at the time I like never understood it. I was like, gross, Mom. But now at 44, like, girlfriend had it go. She knew what she was thinking.
No, she's a genius.
She's a genius.
Is she still alive? She's still looking?
Yes. Her and my dad are actually on their LDS mission right now in Omaha, Nebraska.
Bless them.
Freezing their little tushes off.
I bet.
But
she's still looking.
My parents are very feisty and they're a lot of work.
Okay.
And I'm the one who is around them.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like the closest sibling to them.
Got it.
And I have their locations. They'll be out till like midnight. My dad has cataracts. They're on the freeway. I'm like, what are you doing? Get home.
I love them.
So I like them being on a mission because I know they're safe.
Yeah, because they have a curfew.
They have a curfew. They have to be home at a certain time.
From the Lord.
Yes, exactly.
And they're following that curfew.
They're following it.
I followed the curfew from the Lord.
Yes,
that's for sure.
You have to. So it's a huge peace of mind for me when they're on a mission. Yeah, I miss them, of course, but then I'm not worried about them just out raising hell all over.
Sounds like you're raising
valley.
them.
Yes, exactly. No one ever talks about the change that happens when you have to start raising your parents, and they get feisty.
I'm excited for that because my dad is a stubborn SOB.
Yeah, and my mom is so feisty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, whatever I want.
As she should, probably, but
she's so annoying.
You're like, let me go to bed.
Yes. Yes.
Funny.
Why are you out till midnight? Where could you possibly be?
They're so cute.
They're annoying. Okay, so accessories. You were telling me about how you're super into accessories because you were a tomboy.
Very into accessories. I was the kid who made my mom sign me up for like flag football all through elementary, middle school. I was the only girl on the team. And like took my team to the championship, but like had fake nails on. You know?
Of course.
And I was super proud of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am a very, very girly tomboy. And I've always loved accessories. I've always loved just fashion and, creating outfits and styles and setting trends and things like that. I've just always really been into that world.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'd say I've always been into it.
Do you feel like it's like is it self-expression, or is it just like you like to pretty things up?
No, I actually think it is probably self-expression. I feel like I mentioned earlier, I'm not artistic whatsoever. Like crafts, not my thing. Drawing, not my thing. Painting, not my thing. All of
making cute babies, your thing.
Especially the making part. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, but I feel like everybody needs some sort of creative outlet, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we look at that as something that is artistic. And I looked at all these really talented musicians or artists and things, and I never had that. And so I feel like my form of self-expression probably is outfits, and maybe that sounds conceited, but for me it was it was the process that I really enjoyed, not necessarily even the execution, probably the process.
What about it do you enjoy, the process?
I think,
like, maybe walk us through your process.
Well, it's become different now that I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
But I think just that, like, that mental, like, almost like brain work a little bit of becoming creative or letting myself be creative of like, this would be really cute with this, or this could be really, you know, trendy with this, or this has been really trendy and I'm not really into it anymore, but I think this is coming next. I think that just the process of brain work a little bit is what I enjoy. Because it takes me out of, you know, my everyday like business and lets me be creative instead.
Yeah. So you're still designing all of the drops.
I do have a little bit of help, but the designing portion is actually something, and it's interesting. And if you're kind of in the world of this, you'll understand, especially if you're in the women's fashion world, there is so much stock product that you can go source. So you can always go source your product. It's already pre-designed. You just tell them your quantities, you want it, you order it, right? And that's where a lot of times, especially if you're big into following like fashion boutiques, things like that, a lot of them have the same pieces because they buy from the same source. And so for a long time we did that, and I just like sourced. And honestly, just naive of me that I didn't ever really think that I could do anything else except for the fabric I was buying, right? So we have, when you think about the hair accessory world, and I'll break this down a little bit, I have my fabric pieces, which are the ones that I could go buy the fabric, design the, you know, the piece, drop it off, have it made, pick it up, put it on the site. But there's also pieces that I had no idea I could design a claw or a headband or something that was like plastic or acetate or something like that. And so I feel like I'm now barely diving in. We're finally at the point in my business where I can order the amount that I would need to do it custom to where I can. And so I'm diving into this level of manufacturing where I really can design all of my products. And I think for the future, that's where we're headed is I don't ever want to carry another stock piece in my entire life. Like Caxi, for me, I really want to come from me and my team of whoever that is in the future, you know, or currently is, of pieces that, you know, we've tried, we love, they go with everything. Maybe they're timeless, maybe they're super unique, maybe they're really fun, maybe they're good for your hair, you know, and kind of moving towards that. We're completely unique and original. Yeah. Which I'm excited about.
I love it. Okay. I don't even remember how we met. I think at my mastermind when you came out.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we met.
The dinner.
Correct.
Yeah. And something I really like about you is you're open, but you're so supportive of other women.
That's very nice.
It's true. Where do you feel like that comes from?
I don't know. Honestly, I think I hate drama. I really hate it. And I know everyone says that, like, I hate drama. I really hate it. Like, contention in my life has to be squashed because it keeps me up at night. And I feel like there's so much unnecessary contention, especially between women and women in business, that doesn't need to be there. And so I think just really early on in my business, I noticed that there's little levels of contention that pop up with people that you meet, whether they're another business owner or you're in a competing, you know, realm of business or something like that. And for me, it was unnecessary. And I realized really quick, I don't need to, like, this is stupid. I don't need to do this. And it only takes one party to like put that red or the white flag up or to like be nice to the other person for it to be squashed. And so I've kind of just always had that mindset of like, maybe somebody else in the room feels envious or jealous or, you know, they don't want to tell me their business secrets or whatever that is. And we don't have to be best friends, but I feel like I can always be the person to kind of like put the white flag up and just squash it. Cause I don't want to deal with it a little bit. So maybe it's a selfish thing, but I just think naturally, I don't know. I want to support because I'd rather support than have contention.
Yeah. And then do you feel like playing sports, like cheering for women just comes naturally to you?
Actually, no. I don't think so.
Oh, interesting.
But I do. I also think I was raised by a mom who always was for, I'll say the underdog, right? Like she we always say that my mom has strays because she always brings in the strays, whether it's an animal or it's a person. Like my mom is the collector of strays. And so whether that's, you know, a woman in the neighborhood that maybe doesn't have a lot of friends, or, you know, the kid that is in my class, but nobody likes him, but my mom makes me like invite him to my birthday party. Like she just always collects the strays and makes them feel loved and important. And I just watched that my entire life. And very rare. I mean, I don't want to compare other people in my life to the strays, but I just think I just watched her always just accept everybody and just like love everybody and talk to everybody, give everyone at least a chance. And I think that that's kind of come through really nicely in my business, and it's something that I feel proud of.
I think you do a good job. I've talked to a couple girls. I mean, the Pierce by Mac girls, they're so amazing.
I love them.
They're so fun.
Their dynamic is amazing.
I told them I would subscribe to a live stream.
Yeah, I listen
of just them
to their
hanging
podcast.
out.
They just have it figured out, I think. And like you kind of said on the podcast, and I agree with this, I could never do business with someone else if it wasn't my husband. Like I just couldn't. I don't think I could.
You're not a partner girly.
I don't think I'm a partner girly. Like I really like to be in charge. I like to have the end say. But their dynamic is so flawless, and it really is. Like you might just see it on social media or see it, but I've known them for a couple years now, and when they say they really do just work well together, they do.
Yeah.
And they're awesome.
And they're hilarious and fun to be around. But I've seen you go, like you're making it kind of seem like, oh yeah, it's just, but I've seen you go above and beyond and really like make sure that people are being successful and feel welcomed and feel like brought in. And I think that I say this all the time, but it really just costs you nothing.
No, it really doesn't.
And in fact, I think it enriches your experience as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And helps you solidify what you do know because you're helping someone else learn it. And you're like, oh, wait, I do know what I'm talking about on this one thing.
Absolutely. I think I've also always tried to remember that like people always remember the way that you make them feel.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, like I'm not perfect. I'm probably going to mess up 1 million times in a friendship or a relationship or a business partnership or whatever, because I know I'm not perfect, but I know that I can control how I make somebody feel, and they'll always remember that, regardless of, you know, maybe I said the wrong thing or I did the wrong thing or I didn't wish them a happy birthday. I don't know, whatever the situation is, but they'll always remember that like I made them feel welcomed or good or anything like that.
Yeah. Good job. How has it been? I didn't have this on here, so don't get mad at me.
No, I'm not mad.
But you're a new mom.
Yes.
How old is Laddie?
Laddie is just over 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
So he's still little, but he's huge.
He's so cute. How has it been transitioning from not having kids to now having kids and running a business?
Really freaking hard. I'm not going to lie.
I like it. Not that I like that it's hard, but thank you for being honest.
It's been really, really hard. I think that I have strengths in things and I have weaknesses in things. I was actually I just dropped Lad off at my mother-in-law's to be here. But I was just talking to her and I was saying like, I need to get on some sort of schedule. Like schedule, I just need it. And I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. But now with how chaotic my life is with being a new mom and having a newborn, but also running a business, like a schedule is the only way that I think I'm going to be able to function moving forward a little bit. And so, like I need to have, I think I was naive to the fact of like, oh, he'll be so little. I can bring him to the office because I'm the boss and he'll sleep in his little bassinet and he'll wake up and take a bottle and he'll da-da-da-da. And I'm quickly realizing that that is not the case. Like I go to work with him and he is little and he does sleep a lot, but he also requires a lot of attention. And I was naive to that.
Lad likes to eat, you guys.
Oh, Lad is a muncher.
Yeah.
He is always looking for a boob.
Yeah.
As most men are.
Yeah.
He's just starting him really.
Typical boy.
Typical boy. But he does. He's like doubled in weight and he just loves to eat. And I am his source of food.
Okay. So you're thinking schedule.
Yeah. I need a schedule. I'm craving it. And I've never craved schedule in my whole life.
That's so interesting how everything changes once you become a mom.
Everything changes. It is. And if you're listening to this, you're about to have a baby or maybe you're going to become a mom or a dad and you own a business, like figure out a schedule before, like figure out like a sitter or what you're going to do with your partner. Or
yeah. Are you going to nanny it up? What are you going to do?
I think I'm really lucky. We have a lot of help, family help locally. I think between the 2 grandmas and maybe my sister, we're going to figure it out. Everybody takes a day. I'm going to try to take Fridays off completely and work from home.
Smart.
And we're just going to, and Chase is awesome too. Chase has a really flexible schedule. So between the tribe, we're going to raise this kid, but probably not at the office like I anticipated, you know?
Isn't it funny? No one's more sure about parenting than someone who doesn't have a kid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. If you would have asked me this 3 months ago, I would have been like, I got it down.
Yeah.
I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Actually, he's going to be so cute. He'll sit on my lap and you know. No,
Yeah.
I would have told you what it was going to be like, and it's completely the opposite. But it's okay too. Like I feel really lucky because I feel good. And a lot of women really struggle with postpartum and things like that after their babies. And so I do feel really lucky that I feel good, and I still feel like I want to work. I still feel like I have stuff left to do with Caxi. Like I don't feel this urge of like, I want to just be home 24/7, which is awesome if you do, but I'm not that way. And so I'm grateful that I still feel a passion for my business, to continue with it. But it has taken a huge blow to and Chase and I were married for 5 years before we had kids. And so even our independence of, you know, or even our cash too. And that's something I'm getting into really quick of like, I'm now having to allocate huge portions of cash to, you know, POs or systems or whatever it is that we're doing. And before this, it was like, oh, we'll just like, I don't care. Like, we'll be fine. We'll figure it out, you know, like we'll make it work, or I know I can always make it back, or I can liquidate, or I can whatever it was. But now it's like, no, I have a kid. Like now I have to think like, I can't just be as free, you know, businesswoman as I was because I have another person to think of. And I don't know. It's going to be very, very interesting in the next couple of years how that pans out for me and my business and my baby and the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it is a mess right now. So if you're also in the mess, you're not alone.
Isn't it wild though, the similarities between starting a business and becoming a new mom?
Yes. Insane.
It is like, I can remember just being like, oh, this is the same path.
Mm-hmm. Because you had littles when you started.
Yeah. Gus was 9 months old and Hattie was 3.
Which honestly, hats off to you for starting when you already had kids. Because I want to say I would start after I had kids, but I don't know how I could have, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those scenarios where had I known, I couldn't have.
Yeah.
But because I was dumb and I had no idea,
yeah,
I just went for it.
Which is awesome. And
sometimes
that makes the best businesses.
Yeah. Well, and I think like because I was already in mom mode, entrepreneurship was not a far jump for me.
Yeah.
It felt very similar.
Yeah. And it is.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of work on both ends.
It's a lot of work.
And your brain, it's almost, for me, it's been like brain power. Like physically, I'm okay. I can, you know, I'm not getting as much sleep, but I'm alive. Like I'm okay. But it's like the brain power of like all my attention here. And that's been
I did
been
notice for me, and everyone's different. I know people who work from home, but I have to have them separate.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm feeling.
Yeah. And I really enjoy a commute.
Really?
Yeah. Because
you like alone time.
It gives me time to shift.
Yeah.
Because I can't go right from CEO mode to mom mode. Like I need time to like shift into my nurturing self.
Yeah. And then your businesswoman.
Yeah.
And they are very different.
They're aspects that are the same, but I love a commute.
No, so. I think that's good. I was thinking the other day of like how to be where I'm at, right? Like how can I best be where I'm at? And for me, I think I came to the realization that like if I'm in work mode, if I'm thinking about mom mode, it makes me feel guilty. And if I'm in mom mode and I'm thinking about work mode, it makes me feel guilty. So wherever I'm at, even though it's hard because as a mom, you are always thinking about your kids. You're always, you know, wondering if they're okay and where they're at and are they crying for grandma or whatever the scenario is. And but for me, I've really, really mentally tried to be like, if I'm at work, I have 6-8 hours to get it done and to do my best work. I can't be having these like mom guilt feelings coming into my brain, you know?
Yeah.
So then I'm not effective at work and vice versa. So
how about mom guilt?
Oh, I could throw up right now on the podcast. Just like instantly you say mom guilt and I'm like, yeah, I could think about it. I have guilt.
It's wild.
It's gnarly. It's like intrusive thoughts. And it's past intrusive thoughts.
No, it is like, it's cellular.
Yeah.
It's like a part of you that you didn't even, I don't know if it was dormant and then all of a sudden it like pops up.
Like it's like a switch.
Yeah.
That like pops as it like the baby exits you.
Yes.
On its way out.
The turkey's done. It pops up. Yeah. I don't, or if it's just because it doesn't feel learned.
No.
It's like totally just it's always
innate.
there. Yeah, it's innate.
I wonder if like animals in the wild.
No, they don't feel it.
You don't think so?
No, because they leave their young. I always get, that's why I can't watch little animal shows because they're like, the 2-year-old cub is going off to live on their own. I'm like, at 2?
Like, they don't know anything.
He just barely got his molars.
I know. My mother-in-law is a breeder. And so she like breeds her dogs and then gives them away and breeds
At
them
8
and
weeks.
sells them. Yeah. And they go, I think she goes till 12.
Oh,
I want to say. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa. But it's so sad every time. And like she is almost like numb to it, right? Like it's just the process. Like that's her business. That's how she makes money. Obviously she loves the puppies and she's the best breeder in the world because she loves them so much. But man, it makes me cry.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're leaving to Vegas? They're never going to see each other ever again?
Yeah, you don't see their mom again?
Yeah. It's sad.
But I loved how you said just being where you're at helps you with that.
So much easier said than done. But I am working on it.
Yeah. I feel like if I can get simple stuff done around my house, then my mom guilt is eased. So when I hire out like my laundry or someone to clean, then it just frees up brain space for me to be exactly where I am. And just being deciding to be totally delighted by my children has made like a huge difference.
And I love that. I feel like
fun.
it makes you can tell when a mom likes her kids, and not that you don't like them.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna enjoy the hard. You're gonna enjoy the homework. You're gonna enjoy the whatever.
I actually don't do homework.
That's okay though.
That's my rule. I don't do chores or homework. I hire that out because I don't like who I become. And I feel like if we only have like really they spend more time at school now than they do at home.
Yeah.
And whether I'm working or I'm at home, they're not with me. And if the only time we have together at home is like me yelling at them to get their math homework done, it's just
not good.
It's not fun for me.
Or them.
No. And I was telling Abby's my producer, the other day, Hattie, my daughter drives, she was on her way out here and I was tracking her and I'm like, sometimes when she's coming, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity. Like I just am like so enamored and delighted and in love with them. They're so good.
And they probably feel that so much.
I hope so.
Which is good.
I hope from watching me, they feel like everything's modeled. And then I hope they just always feel loved.
Yeah. See, they'll always remember how you made them feel.
That's true.
Not screaming at them for their homework. They might remember. I remember that.
You remember being screamed at for your homework?
1,000%.
Everyone's had that experience.
Yeah, I know. I think it's part of the process.
It's not fun for the parent. It's not fun for the child.
Because I'm like, you could tell me this a million times, Dad, but I don't get it. You know?
It's not.
He's like, why don't you get it?
I know. And escalating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all a good story now.
What's your vision for Caxi? What are we doing?
This is a really hard question for me because I don't have a cap. It's hard for me to like really visualize like this would make me happy. This would be I've made it, you know?
Yeah.
But I do think short term for Caxi, right? We just nailed the free people account, which is awesome. I have to maintain that. Like that has slowly become, and I also think a hard part about becoming a mom for me has been it's all landed at once. So like this big, huge opportunity for us that I've wanted for so long landed, and then I had a baby right after. And so maintaining that has to be huge for me personally. But with that, I think like I just want to keep going. I want all the accounts. I want to keep growing. Caxi originally started selling to the individual girl. And now as I have become a better business person and I'm thinking long term, for my business model, I'm focusing more on the wholesale side of things. And that's really where I see Caxi going is I want to be in the salons. I want to be in all the retail stores. I want to be, the hair care or the hair accessory brand that like you see and you don't even bat an eye because it's everywhere kind of thing. So that's kind of my vision, but I think that that's going to just take like one account at a time, slowly. And also maintaining, we also still do sell directly to consumers. So, and that's the fun part for me because I know so many of my customers. And that's the part where you really get to see, like whether that's on Instagram or, Caxi in the wild or whatever. That's what I physically get to see. And so that's fun too.
What's your split right now between wholesale and e-com?
I would say right now we're probably like, as of right now, we're probably 50-50.
Oh,
I would say.
that's good.
And I would say that like employees in the office as well, responsibility wise, are split 50-50 between like our e-commerce and our wholesale accounts.
Wholesale's so nice.
It is. It is nice. It comes with its own issues.
Sure.
But it really, I think, is the way to go if you have a product that could be wholesaled.
Yeah, that is small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think like if you're the kind of person that wants to blow up your business, go wholesale. If you're content with a good business that's going to bring you good money, don't ever go into wholesale. Like
Right.
if you're not ready to like really put your big girl pants on, don't get into wholesale.
Yeah, because it slaps you around and spits you out.
It's a monster, but it's awesome. I feel like I'm describing motherhood a little bit again.
It is. It's like there's so many pros, and then all pros come with their cons. But
Yep.
that's so amazing. The Free People account. So are you guys in all stores?
So right now we are on like our third launch with them online, but they do have pending POs that will be in all stores and overseas as well.
Oh my
So
gosh.
those ones will launch like this summer-ish.
Fun.
So we're very, very excited.
I love it. What is one lesson that you learned early on that's still true today?
Honestly, this is, I think you're really good at talking about this, but like you kind of just have to do it. I don't know how else to say it. I can't sugarcoat it. Like if you want something, you kind of just have to go do it. And a lot of times as women, I've noticed in business, you let your insecurities or your doubts or your this kind of trickle into your mind. And I think of all the times that I had insecurities or I had doubts, and most of them were reflections of like myself or my own insecurity. If I would have just done it, and eventually I've done the things, that I felt like were hard in the past, but if I would have done it a year ago or if I would have done it 2 years ago, I think I would have been even further along than I am now. And that I have to remind myself that, and it's a good lesson that I learned of like, if I'm scared of something, I need to just do it, because in 2 years I'm going to buck up and do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well just do it now and then save myself the 2 years of like,
What do I say? In a
struggle
year,
growth.
you're going to be a year from now.
yes.
And so if you do it today, then a year from now, you'll be a year out.
Yep.
Or like you said, you're going to be doing it in a year.
100%.
And you just spent a whole year thinking about it.
Yeah. And that kills me. The times when I look back and I'm like, I should have just done it. It wasn't even that bad. You know? Like that's like my biggest insecurity now of like my old past regrets of like, I wish I would have just done that,
How do you, so if you're scared, what's your trick to just do it?
I don't have very good advice. I just have to do it. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of just have to like grow my big girl panties and just like, just clench and go.
Sometimes I'll like have a friend sit by me while I like,
that's a good idea.
or like have accountability so I can
love
talk
that.
to someone about it. But yeah, just get it done and be prepared to fall on your face and be okay with it.
Have you ever seen I Bought a Zoo? We Bought a Zoo?
No,
Okay, you need to go watch it. Maybe with your kids. It's like a very cute.
it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's about this single dad that like he lost his wife from cancer. He's got 2 little kids. He moves his family and he decides to go buy a zoo. Okay, this old beat down zoo. It's really, really cute. I think it has Matt Damon. I could be wrong. Anyways, he has this quote in it, and I always laugh that I pull this quote all the time, and it's like the cheesiest little movie that I've ever seen. It is cute, but it is cheesy. But he says like all you need is 3 seconds. I think it's 3, might be 5. 3 seconds of insane courage, and like great things will happen. And I remind myself that maybe that's my tip of like, really the hard thing, you're 3 seconds away from it being over. Whether that's like making the phone call or,
Sending the email,
paying the deposit, whatever that is, whatever that a first initial thing is to jump in is probably not more than 3 seconds. So if you can have 3 seconds of that insane courage, like you have no idea the endless possibilities that could happen. But also, like you said, you have to be prepared that it might not work out, and that's okay. But at least you did it, and that's something to be proud of as well.
Yeah, I love that. What advice would you give young Lex?
Oh, so much. So much advice.
Let's hear it.
Lots of advice. I'm trying to think of like some just good one-liners. But for me, I think the advice would probably be like to take myself more seriously. I think, and this maybe comes back to what we've just been talking about, I doubted myself a lot. And I, especially when I started, like, was it not embarrassed, but I was too scared of failure to like really sing it from the rooftops that I had started a business. And it is scary when you first start because you don't have much to show for it quite yet. And so I was scared, like, oh, if I don't end up doing it in a month, or if it falls flat on its face, like it looks like a failure, whatever. Or even into my business a year or 2 years, sometimes I'd be scared to like post on my personal page, or, you know, ask a friend for some advice, or, you know, send the email to a big business person, or whatever that was. I wish I would have taken myself more seriously, and instead of just being like, oh, like when people ask what do you do? I would always just be like, I just own this little small business.
Right.
You know? And I look back and I used to say that all the time. And now when I hear other people say that, I kind of stop them, and I'm like, no, it's not just a small business. It's your whole world. That's awesome. You know? Yeah. And so I think if I would have taken myself a little bit more seriously as a business owner, even though I was young, I think I would be further along than I am now, because I'm finally at the point where it's like, no, this is really cool. Like, I own a business. I have employees. I employ a ton of people. We're in Free People. Like, I feel really confident with where I'm at in my business, even though it's not maybe where I want to be, but I'm confident where I'm at. And I wish I would have been that way the whole way.
I actually love that advice.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do some rapid fire.
Love.
What's your favorite product?
Caxi.
Mm-hmm.
Caxi product. I'm going to have to go with the lay down claw. It's a claw that we've designed to where it's flat on the back of your head, so you can actually like drive in your car without it stabbing you in the back of your head, or laying on your beanbag, or making out with your boyfriend, or whatever you're doing. Your hair can be back.
It's makeout proof.
It's makeout proof. Young Susan needed that. Wasn't watching sports, but she needed the lay down claw.
This ASAP. Okay. What's your favorite moment being a mom so far?
Oh my gosh, so many. Honestly, probably like the whole birthing experience for me was just
magical.
Like magic. I can't describe it other than like spiritual, magical. It was just so like meeting your baby for the first time. There is no better feeling in the whole world.
It is. It's like, yeah, spiritual, magical. There's like, I try to always put it into words and I fall short.
No, you can't.
But I always just say it's like the 2 most fun days of my whole entire life.
What's the other one?
Both when I had both my babies. The top 2.
She's like Disneyland. No, I'm like, whoa.
No, top 2 funnest days ever. It bypasses my wedding.
Yeah.
It's like literally the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Easily.
Yeah.
And just that whole day, you're exhausted, but like you just stare at your baby.
Yeah.
You're
just
like, you're perfect.
On
even if
cloud 9.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I love that. What's your biggest fear?
Monkeys. Gorillas. No, terrified. Have you seen Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, but I don't.
Have you seen all the stupid?
But Planet of the Apes is not real, you know.
I don't care. I do not care. It could be real, because have you seen all the stupid reels and the TikToks of like the monkeys and the gorillas? Maybe they're targeting me because they know
I haven't seen
that
these.
like they're genius. They're so smart.
Yeah,
they could eventually be smarter than humans. Take us all over. Goodbye.
Okay.
Not into that.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl, 100%.
I don't
mind. I don't mind the mornings. I can get up, but I like to stay up late, especially because I feel like my nights are like my me time, and they always have been. So I'm a night owl.
Love it. Any good books?
I'm not. I used to be a huge reader. I have currently had a baby. No time to read.
We're not reading.
But I am halfway through the book. Oh man, what's it called? I literally just looked up the title before I came. Third Jesus?
Oh, I've never heard of it.
The Third Jesus? I feel like it's a spiritual book about Jesus, but it also is kind of like a mental book. And it talks about like there's 3 different Jesuses. There's like the Jesus from the Bible, or there's the Jesus that we like perceive as Jesus. Like it just talks about the 3 Jesuses. And it's kind of a mind book for me a little bit. And I've enjoyed it. I haven't finished it yet, so can't give a full recommendation.
I'm going to look it up. You big show girl? You like shows?
Love shows.
What are you watching?
Smutty, slutty TV. Can I say that on this podcast?
You know what I love about you, Lex, is
Tell me.
Third Jesus plus
Love Island UK.
I love Love Island UK.
No, it is my favorite show in the whole world.
Okay, about Tommy Fury.
Oh, and they had their baby.
Bambi.
Terrible name.
I actually love it.
I'm so happy that you do. I just can't help but see the little deer.
No, Bambi.
Bambi.
Say it with, say it with,
Like Molly May. Have
Yeah.
you ever read her book, by
No.
the way?
Is it good?
Becoming Molly May. It's not that great. I'm not going to lie, but it is interesting. I think she's genius for what she's turned herself into a brand. So it was fun to listen to, but it was a quick read. It was good. Like a good Audible. If you got some extra credits.
Bambi's one of those names that only work in British English.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't think Lad, my baby's name, could ever work there.
How would you say it?
Lad. But they say Lad. Like Lad is like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have
It's like your boys. You're out with the boys.
One of my English friends that lives here now, we named our baby Lad. She came over, she met him, and she was like laughing, and she was like, naming your boy Lad in the UK would be like naming your boy Boy here.
Right.
So if he ever goes to the UK, he's screwed.
Yeah, but it's capital L.
Yeah. But it's 2 D's at the end.
Yeah. Double D.
Yeah, it's true.
What about music? Big music girl.
I do love music. I'm a little bit more into podcasts right now.
What are you listening to?
Your podcast.
Besides
No,
mine?
I'm actually really like, I
you're
love a
so
good
nice.
business podcast. I think that I always leave a business podcast feeling better than I did before and feeling inspired in some way. Sometimes it's to be a better mom or to be, a better business owner. So I love a good business podcast. But I do love the new Macklemore album.
Oh, I haven't
and
listened.
Morgan Wallen.
Okay, I just barely started to get into Morgan Wallen.
Oh,
You're
you're on a slippery slope.
I know.
Do you need me to hold your hand?
No. Yes, please.
Okay.
I feel like country's for me seasonal.
Okay.
So it's summer only usually.
All right.
But I'm trying to get summer here quicker, so I started listening to country like a week ago.
To manifest
Yes.
the snow away.
Oh, I love it. I know we need it.
Jesus is like, Susan is now listening to country. Snow
Like,
is over.
Yeah, it's time to send the sunshine.
I like it.
But
What about like a USANA country concert? Like, are you front row at like a?
no, I don't like concerts.
No, at all. Not your thing.
2 things happen. Number 1, I can't get out of the operational mode. And so I'm like,
We talked about this at the jazz game.
Yes. It's like, how many seats are here? What's the
Yes.
average ticket price?
You're on
how
your
much?
calculator.
Exactly. The whole time you saw me. And so that's number 1. And number 2, I get really bad anxiety when I'm in too big of a crowd.
Yeah.
And then I'm like trying to look for the way out.
Totally get that.
Like the only way I can enjoy sporting events actually is by picking boyfriends.
Okay. Well, now
So
we know.
it's actually an anxiety combater.
You keep telling yourself that, Susan. Whatever makes your husband be like, yeah, it's all right, girl.
Oh, he could just care less. He's so
And that's what we love about him.
he's so not threatened.
We love that about him.
Like if he was taking a nap and I was talking about boys on the couch, he wouldn't even get up. He'd be like, "Here she goes
that
again,"
is a secure marriage
running
right there.
her mouth. Okay, who are you looking up to these days?
My husband.
Oh, you're so
Actually.
sweet.
I feel like so I started Caxi and I have run Caxi our whole marriage. He does like real estate and loans. His family's big in the real estate world. So he's kind of done that as well. And just the last year, I think he has begged me to come onto Caxi for years since I started.
He wants
it.
to come work for you.
Yeah. Like he's like, he's the one that's like, let's freaking blow this thing up. Right. Not that I'm not, but he is verbal about it. And I've been the one that's like, no, we're like, what if we don't, what if it's not a good dynamic? What if it affects our marriage? What if too many eggs in one basket, whatever my excuse was. But the last little bit I've actually been like, no, let's do it. And so he's been in office a lot more lately. And I think me being able to like see him in his business mode, which I don't get to see very often because we were always separate offices, separate places, has really inspired me. And like, I really look up to him the way that he does things that I would have never done things that way. But I've been very like reignited. It's also really sexy.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you tell
You
her
got
to
all
do
this
that.
stuff going on right now. You got
I
your
know.
man bossing people
I know.
around. You got him being a
I
new
know.
dad.
Sometimes he's the janitor. Sometimes he's bossing people. Like
mean,
he comes in
that's
and he fills
hot.
whatever role he needs.
Yeah.
I'm like, take out that trash.
Yeah.
You know?
Do it. Do it, Chase. Okay, last question. What
Yes.
legacy are you trying to build?
This was my hardest question from you.
Oh, it was?
Hardest question.
Sorry.
But
not
I think
sorry.
we've kind of talked about it. 2 things. I really am big with how you make people feel. So I think my personal legacy is like if anyone were to ask about like Lexi Cuillard, like I really strive to have positive experiences with people because there's something so valuable about someone that makes you feel good. And so I just think that for me is just really important in my life, the people around me, how I treat people. But in regards to my business, I think I want to be like cover of Forbes. I want to probably sell out for millions and millions and millions of dollars. I want to live on a beach somewhere with Lad and Chase and maybe another nugget sometime down the road if I can bring my cats.
Oh, yeah, you're a cat.
Oh, huge. I will change you to the cat side.
The fur.
No, designer cats. You go designer cats, you get them groomed.
And they don't have fur?
Well, yes.
They don't, it doesn't end up all over your house?
I mean, one of them, kind of, one of them, no. One of them we completely groom. Shave her literally as like a lion. She has like a lion cut, but she doesn't shed very bad. The other one sheds a little bit, but we have Roombas constantly through the whole house.
I feel like I could become I want my dog to be a cat.
Okay.
Like, I like the idea of him, but
Yeah.
when he's too, like, needy, I'm like, can't you just go be a cat somewhere?
No, cats are chill, calm, cool, collected. They come cuddle with me sometimes. Sometimes they don't. They kind of take care of themselves. They look pretty.
Yeah.
I do have to roll out all of my black leggings, though.
That's the thing is I only wear black.
See, but you just get a roller in every part of your life.
Okay, I might be into it, but
Or
we're
you can
also
get like a what are they called? A sphinx?
but here's
A
the thing.
hairless cat.
You just had a baby.
Yeah.
My daughter's a junior. So we're looking at freedom. Like freedom's on my brain. Even the dog feels like a lot right now.
Susan, let me tell you something. Complete freedom with a cat.
Cause what, you just leave them at home?
Literally.
They
And
don't
they're
care?
they don't want to go anywhere.
They don't
I want to be reincarnated as a cat.
they don't even want you there most of the time,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So you can do whatever you want with a cat.
Okay. I might look into
It's
it.
like a little side boyfriend. That like you don't have to give them your full attention, but like they're there when you want
Oh,
them.
so like my athletes.
No, Susan's athlete. I do
Oh.
not condone side boyfriends, for the record, but
Not real ones, but
No.
like pretend ones.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're just there to look at when you need them. Never
Yeah.
stop looking.
Yeah.
What's your mom's name?
Dee Dee.
Oh,
Dee Dee.
I'm gonna quote her someday
Okay.
with that. That's cute.
Okay. All right, Lex. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.